Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, for this celebratory victory pod that presented on Sunday evening at 11:15, where the Commanders take down the Buccaneers 23-20. First playoff win since 2005, when Washington traveled down to Tampa when Sean Taylor's special game, you could say, with the return touchdown. This was another example of this team being in the right position at all times. You know, in week one, a lot of things derailed them to be able to get back in that game. Things just seemed out of whack. Tonight was a fantastic combination of week one on defense rearing its ugly head, where Tampa Bay is running those mesh routes. You saw that with Mike Evans on Lattimore, where he was able just to get around him, right? And using those kind of bunch formations to be able to create space for their wide receivers. But in like week one, we didn't have the offense in order to really give us that other step ahead, right? Tonight was a perfect combination of where that week one defensively, that's coming around. But then Baker fumbles that football. Bobby Wagner falls on top of it. Early in the season, there was a fumble opportunity for Bobby, and he didn't fall on it. He did this tonight. And then the combination with Jaden, where in the second half of the season, where I guess you could say for majority of the season, where Jaden just like finds a way to put this team in a position to win. So it was almost like week one in the sense where they still use some of those, the Tampa Bay still used some of those things to be able to get some yardage and to get in good position on us. But the difference here was the offense and the maturity, the growth of them all together. Diami, I said on the last pod that I thought Diami was going to be the unsung hero for this game. And Diami absolutely answered the call. Diami in this game was our leading receiver with 5 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown. Terry McLaurin was our second leading receiver, 7 receptions, 89 yards for a touchdown on 10 targets. Diami caught all 5 of his targets, by the way. A lot of credit to that young man. Austin Eckler on that last drive, being able to come through for us to catch that football, which was absolutely huge. Jaden Daniels was our leading rusher tonight. 13 carries for 36 yards, 24 of 35, 268 yards passing, but 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown to Terry McLaurin, I mean, that was absolutely amazing to be able to witness that. Or no, that was to Diami, I think. But, dude, it's such a crazy place to be here right now because I really wanted to see a playoff victory, you know, and to see this football team, the Island of Misfit Toys, coming together once again. If you're asking questions about my hat, just want to let you know, I couldn't find it. I'm scrambling to get this done. I got to be up at 4 a.m. for work. I didn't want to waste a lot of time looking for it, so I'm just going to rock this one. But that being said, what an amazing feeling this is. This football team, once again, finding a way to win. I saw everyone on Twitter complaining about Marshawn Lattimore, complaining about this defense and getting gashed up and down the field. I get it. They were not the best in the world. Obviously, on third down, Tampa Bay's offense was 5 of 9. But the MO of this team is they just find a way to give the ball back to us in the offense in order for them to win, put us in a position to win the game. And this offense, time and time again, has shown, if you give us that ability, we will come through for you. And that's what they did again tonight. So, look, a lot of credit to everybody involved. Credit to Dan Quinn. Credit to Adam Peters. Credit to everyone on defense. Bobby Wagner toughening that thing out. He got injured on that last drive, was able to make something happen. But hat tip to Diami Brown. He absolutely deserves the unsung hero. He deserves a game ball. He gets my game beer for this one. He absolutely came through for this football team when he needed to. He caught all 5 of his targets. Defensively, I thought we did a good job in the second half of just being able to get off the field, taking advantage. Like so many times you've heard coaches and just analytics, just not analytics, but just people that just talk about the game say, especially in the playoffs, there's opportunities. and you have to take advantage of those opportunities. And that's what Washington defensively did tonight with that ball being on the ground by Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield coming into this game was riding hot, dude. He was playing some fantastic football, and early on, that's what he was doing. And a lot of people talk about that trucking of Bobby Wagner. I think a lot goes into that. I don't think that Bobby did that all by himself, but somebody coming over and obstructing his kind of path and everything kind of ruined it all. But this team put themselves in this position. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're moving on to the next round, going against the Detroit Lions. I am so excited. I am so proud of this football team. In years past, I would not have stayed up late and done these before work, but you know what? This team deserves it, man. Like they really do fight. They claw. And like that's what I just want this fan base to kind of realize is like early in these games, obviously, like at this point, like the way that this team is playing, you can't be surprised by things that happen early on. Like you just got to calm down. Everything will be okay. They'll make the adjustments. They are a very opportunistic defense in the sense that they just, whenever it's presented to them, they make a play with it. The DPI in the end zone with Marshawn Lattimore, I thought it was DPI, but it was on both sides. That play should have been called dead, and they should have had a replay of it instead of giving the ball at the 1 yard line. Mike Evans, taking him over top, throwing him down. The DPI in the end zone on the Zach Ertz throw on the 4th down, where Levante David literally bear hugs him and literally obstructs his progress so he can have an ability to catch a football. That's textbook pass interference right in front of them. Obviously, we can all complain. Even the Bucks fans are going to have some that they want to complain about, of course. But look, man, we won the football game. This is playoff football, big boy stuff. A lot of credit to Tampa Bay's front. I knew coming into this season that they were one of the best run defenses in the league, and they do a very good job at it. And you saw it again tonight. Washington struggled mightily to be able to run the football. And I think a lot of that has to do with the blocking scheme. You saw in the Kalijah Cansey highlights that they showed in the game where he's able to get in front of Andrew Wiley right there on the goal line and be able to stop the running back in the backfield. That is a long play for that tackle to come over this side and turn him this way, right? You got to be able to obstruct him, right? And especially a guy like Kalijah Cansey, that's very difficult to do. So, like, I think a lot of the times, especially on the Jaden 4th down run at the end of the game, where he's able to escape, right, and be able to get that 1st down so we can liquidate the clock in order for us to go and win the football game. That one, Sam Cosmi loses Kalijah because it's a tough block, and he is able to somehow, Jaden is able to escape from Kalijah's grasp. I don't know how the hell he did that. But regardless, that is a hard block to make. I think that the blocking scheme up front is difficult with what some of these defensive lines are doing. But man, I'm at a loss for words with this football team. Shout out to all the fans that went down to Tampa. You could hear the Terry chants. You could hear the MVP chants, the defense chants. They showed out today, and they traveled. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you guys have money for this stuff, to be able to go down and visit and buy tickets at hotels and food and everything. That whole Magic Johnson meme, not me, dude. I don't have money for that shit. But credit to you guys for going down there and doing it. Everybody involved. This was a total team win. One thing I wanted to bring up, special teams. Jeremy Reeves and the kickoff unit was destroying that punt returner. I mean, on multiple occasions, you saw that guy lying on the turf, just like he was getting battered, dude. He was beat up. And a lot of credit to those guys because they did their job. We didn't turn over the football tonight. Only gave up 1 sack, and a lot of credit to Jaden for getting the ball out when he needed to, for evading things when he needed to, using his legs, keeping his eyes downfield. He was fantastic tonight. This was a really, really good performance by Jaden Daniels. The offensive line has a ways to go. Brandon Coleman was getting eaten early on in that game, but it looks like he made some adjustments. I'm not sure if he's 100%, but he did what he needed to do. The penalties were something that I think that the penalties, especially on defense, have been an issue for this team, especially in the red zone, where they've been, over the past couple weeks, they've been giving up points to teams where they shouldn't be giving up those points because of penalties. Where like they're bend but don't break, but then they commit a penalty that puts them on the one, and now it's a really hard spot for you to be in. And so like that's the sort of thing that I want this team to like. It's hard to do it because some of these are very ticky tack, very bad calls, and not we don't always get those calls in return. But the fact is, they don't let that get to them. I thought early on that Tampa Bay was not taunting, but they were baiting Marshawn Lattimore to get over emotional, to get a reaction out of him. So he was doing a little bit extra stuff so they could get down the field more with penalties and other stuff. But he did a good job of remaining cool, calm, and collected. Deserves a lot of credit. Mikey on that Benjamin, I wanted to highlight this. The Benjamin St. Juste play where it's a wheel route to Jalen McMillan early in that game. Mikey sees it and literally just charges north to be able to swat that ball away, right? The crazy thing about that is Tampa ran that same exact play week 1. And Mikey was the guy who was on Jalen McMillan in week 1, and he lost him. He crossed the field and Jalen cut up field and Mikey was lost. But luckily, Jalen McMillan dropped that ball. In this game, they ran that same exact play, and Mikey has seen it. Mikey knows it now. And so you see the maturation of Mikey saying, I know what this is. Instead of just relying on Benji to go do it, I know what this is. I'm in good position. I'm turning and burning. And that's exactly what he did. That young man is showing to be a great, great corner, and he deserves to stay on the outside. My goodness, I cannot say enough good things about that young man. He's doing what he needs to do. Frankie Louvu and company, Bobby Wagner in this game came out with like out of a cannon, dude. I mean, trucking Bucky Irving into into Baker, and then the following series, Bucky goes low because now Bobby has completely whooped his ass the drive previous to this. And so Bucky then comes out with a cut block. Well, that cut block at the same time the guard comes over to block high on Bobby Wagner, which leads to a penalty, which helps the defense get off the field. It's these small, little, minute, detailed plays is the difference that is the ultimate difference in this game. A lot of credit to this football team. In week 1, Tampa Bay put up 37 on them. Obviously, they're without Chris Godwin. But today they only got 20. And as much as we want to complain about the defense and what we have going forward, I don't want to talk about that right now. Just want to talk about the maturation of this team where I talked about this last week, the compare and contrast, where in week 1 that offensive identity wasn't there. You saw it in pure tonight, where we didn't turn over the football. Jaden wasn't getting sacked out of the crazy. Obviously, we have lost a little bit in the run game, but that was almost similar to what we went against in week 1. Vita Vea is just a monster, dude. It's hard to run on that guy. I'm not going to lie to you. When that draft came down, I wanted Vita over Duran. But look, I wasn't going to cry about it. Duran has done a great job here in Washington. I know he got nicked up in this game. But Washington found a way. And that's what they have done. And that is their identity. Dan Quinn has highlighted it so many times. They're just a bunch of hard hat workers, man. They're not going to get all the light. I mean, I'm sure Jaden is. Jaden's getting a lot of run nationally. But the team itself is not. Because people look at them and say, just like I said last episode, not a lot of talent surrounding him. You can't really give him all that much. It's just Jaden. You can't really go into the playoffs thinking that's going to work for you. But you can see as a team that they have banded together and they have truly gotten this identity of, if we keep this thing close, we always have a chance. And they have exceeded expectations in that category. It's absolutely amazing to where we are right now. To win a playoff game in Dan Quinn's first year, that is unheard of. We know that here in Washington. We've seen rookie quarterbacks come in here before, and things went off the rails, right? Well, not this time. And I think the big difference is just the relationship of the team and what they have come in with the mindset of is that we're never going to give up. We're not going to quit. This team deserves a lot of credit. 4th down. 3 of 5 today. Credit. That's what the balls that they all have. Like, that's the confidence. That's the relationship that they have with one another. Jaden on one of those fourth downs being able to find Zach Ertz right after missing Zach Ertz on that third down before that. And Zach Ertz on that third down before that, if you can look back at it, he gets up almost slowly from that. But Jaden still goes back to him, and he comes through with a crossing route and able to haul that ball in. Terry McLaurin on that deep contested catch early on in this game. Terry just showcasing himself again and again and again. And Cliff, as much as we want to complain about the play calls here and there, this team is performing, and they're putting up points. You can complain all you want. They're still winning games. They're still winning more points than the other team. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your excitement level for this. Like, this is unprecedented for us, right? Like, we are not used to this, right? And a lot of that has to do with this young man, JD5, doing his best Nelly impression with the bandage on his face. But, man, them together as a unit, it is really, really tough to root against them. And the donk off the upright for the win. I mean, that's chef's kiss, dude. With all the kicking woes that we've had this season, for the donk to go in, I mean, it's just crazy. It's insane to think about. But it's just like full circle moment, man. It's just like that's what the season came to, right? And now we have a chance going up against Detroit, and nobody's going to give us a chance. And you know what? I'm cool with that. That's how it's been all year. That's how it was against Cincinnati, right? And I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. Let's get crazy, Let's get wild. It's time to party. And look, they're a very good team. It's going to be very hard to beat them, but this team is fully capable of doing so. I want to seriously give a huge shout out to Diami Brown, because Big Doug had tweeted out that Diami before the game deserved to be brought back next year. My point was, not yet. He has a very good chance of proving that in January, meaning this month, and he absolutely came through. And that is somebody that deserves a lot of credit. A lot of things have been said about him. His stats are not insane, but I think he already beat a lot of his stats from this season already. And that's a young man that stepped up to the occasion. And that's the kind of guys that you need. I talked about this on the last episode. The crazy thing about this team is, like, it's somebody new every week. You can't say this guy is the one that's going to ball out. Like, obviously, Terry McLaurin balled out, of course. But it's not like the Mike Evans sort of thing, where, like, Mike Evans is the guy for them. If you can limit Mike Evans, you're somewhat very majority limiting that offense. So, like, but with us, it's different in the sense of it's somebody new every week. Alamati Zaccheaus coming through, Jamison Crowder coming through, Diami Brown coming through. It's somebody new every week, and that's the special thing about them. And that's why I was saying was reminiscent to the World Series champions of the Nationals, where they were very much like this, where it was just somebody new in each playoff round was able to get them over the hump. And that's what special teams do. This, in their collective as a group, that's their strength, is themselves. And it's just somebody new every week. And I'm glad to see Lattimore getting back on the field. I think people are beating up on him a little bit too much. He's missed a lot of time. And playing corner, you're doing a lot of running, you're doing a lot of quick runs. And so you have to imagine you got to work yourself back into that shape, right? And that's what Marshawn Lattimore is kind of dealing with right now is, yes, he's somewhat healthy, but he also has to get back into the rhythm of being in a game. And this was a great start for him to be able to do that. Going against Mike Evans, somebody that he knows. Obviously, Mike Evans is very good, and he's been on a tear. And obviously, he's going to get his, and he did. But at the end of the day, Marshawn Lattimore might have lost the battle, but we won the war. And that's all that matters, right? And so, look, credit to Mike Evans and that Tampa Bay offense, but they made one too many mistakes. And Washington, the beauty of it, took advantage of that. Did not give away any mistakes in the sense of turnovers. Really bad plays, right, to put them in bad position. They never did that. And that's why they were the better team tonight. It simply comes down to that. And this team altogether took advantage of the opportunities that were presented. Obviously, Tampa lost their top corners in this game. We know all too well about that sort of stuff, but we took advantage of that opportunity. We were able to get down the field. And I can't say enough good things about this football team right now. I'm on cloud 9. I love where I am right now. I just wanted to do a quick reaction before the episode on Wednesday. I need to go to bed, but I just wanted to say, man, I love you guys. Some of you guys on Twitter, I wouldn't go to war with. I still love you. I just wouldn't go to war with you, but with how much complaining you do, just seem very brittle in the sense of being able to point fingers and other things like that. But I still love you. Wouldn't go to war with all you, but I love you to death, and I love this football team. It's amazing to witness what we are, and grateful for it, blessed for it. Prayed a lot for the Commanders this weekend. I had my son wearing his Terry McLaurin jersey to church today. Had my daughter wearing my when I was a kid, I had a Redskins like starter jacket that I would wear, and my daughter was wearing it today to church. So there were a lot of praying, and those prayers were answered today. We have one heck of a football team, man. They battle, they fight, and they go all out for all of it. There's so much to get into with this game, and I think a lot of credit goes to Dan Quinn and the culture that he's created. There's a lot of things to fix, especially the offensive line. Going against Detroit, running the football is going to be something that has to happen. Detroit puts up a lot of points, right? But running the football and controlling the clock is one thing. And that's what Washington did in this game. 35 minutes and 26 seconds, Washington controlled the clock to Tampa's 24 minutes and 34 seconds. That's one of the biggest recipes to winning against a high-powered, explosive offense with a quarterback who performs well. And that's what they did today. They deserve a lot of credit. Only one sack given up, only one sack on Baker, which is fine. Just saying, they just find a way. And it's ugly, and it's a lot of people have described it as painful. You could say that. It's glorious. It's awesome. I love every second of it. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't nervous at all in that 2-minute drive. I really wasn't. I just whatever happens, happens, man. You know, God's will be done, and I'll here to accept whatever it is. And luckily, I'm very happy that he was there with us tonight and be able to get that W, because Washington as a whole, I think we truly needed it. And I don't want people to lose sight of what is transpiring here, and that this is unprecedented. This is insane to think that Washington won a playoff game after going 4-13 last season. It's nuts. It's nuts, man. But this is where we are, and the water's fine, man. Come in, enjoy it. Get your floaties on, get your bathing suit on, enjoy with us. You know, and credit to those guys for going in with the work ethic that they needed to do. A lot of people will crap on Dan Quinn for the 4th down calls, but that's why we do it. We're aggressive in that sense. There's sometimes where we don't do it, and there's sometimes where we do it. And it seems to be the right recipe that we need. And as much as we would love to have those 6 points, we won the game. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I'm so happy for this football team and what we have done, what they have done here, because as a fan on the sideline, you know, obviously you always feel attached to the team, but this, like every single win, has just seemed monumental, and it's nuts. You know, it's unbelievable to see what they have done. But this isn't the end. We still have another game, and that's the beautiful part. There's still more work to be done. There's still food left on the plate. And you got to make sure the plate is clean, and that's the hard part. You got to keep eating as much as you are getting full on being blessed in glory. You still have more food to eat. You got to go to work, and I know that they're biting at the bit for it. I'm sure that team flight back is going to be nuts, and they deserve it. But just remember, you got more work to do, right, boys? And happy for you guys. I'm happy for everybody involved. I know Josh Harris, the company, they have to be ecstatic about the product that they have now. After seeing what this team was before and what they've done now, and it's unbelievable. And they deserve a lot of credit for everything that they have done here, much more so than anybody on the sideline, right? Well, everybody, I don't know what else I have to say. I'm running low here. I could go for another hour and a half, but I do have to get up for work. I can't be just wasted, right? But I will say, my coworker, I have 2 Tampa Bay coworkers, and they were talking smack on Friday, dude. They were talking smack, saying on Monday I was going to be distraught and all this other stuff. My coworker, who's an Eagles fan, said to me, he whispered over to me in the corner, he's like, I'm rooting for you guys this weekend. He's like, they keep talking. You and I are the only ones that are being quiet right now. It's like, all right. And that's the funny thing about Philly fans. The Philly fans on social media are much different than the Philly fans you know personally. The Philly fans I know personally are fantastic, great people, some of the closest friends I have. But I'll just say, the ones on social, very different. Very different. So I just want to say I'm happy going into work tomorrow. I'm going to have a big old smile on my face. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk smack. I'm like, what's up, man? How was your night? Well, that's all I'm going to do. Jaden Daniels, he's it, man. This team is beautiful to watch. I know I keep saying the same thing over again, but I'm like literally at a loss for words. I in my like it. You can imagine this team doing very well and having a winning record. It's a different thing to say that they're going to win a playoff game. And obviously, a lot of people thought of them as underdogs coming into this game, which is kind of crazy. You know, when you think about it, they're 12-5. They're not. People talked all season about you guys didn't beat anybody good and all this other stuff. Well, what about now? You know, watch this. Got another opportunity next week, guys. I appreciate all you guys. If you're watching this, you're a freaking champion. I'm sure there's Deluxe and others, or anybody who went to the stadium is probably watching all the videos, leaving this. It was very fun. You guys made an impact at the game, and it was awesome. Glad that we got out of there with a W, that we can watch more football games. As much as the stress seems to get to us, it's all worth it, man. This team is awesome. Stop crapping on B-Rob. Austin Eckler, B-Rob, all of them contributed in multiple ways. Catching the football, getting positive yardage. The O-line needs to do a little bit better. We can all agree on that. I think that we need to stop beating up on B-Rob because the offense line is struggling to be able to move people around. But you also have to give credit to the Tampa Bay front. This is what they do. This is what they're good at. Literally, they hang their hat on being able to stop the run. The pass is where they've been eaten alive, and a lot of credit to us for taking advantage of that, especially in this game. Game beers to Diami, game beers to everybody. Enjoy the flight. Enjoy coming back home, boys. I appreciate all you guys. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Don't miss that episode. Washington football. Woo! What's up, everyone? This is Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. We are releasing our own merch to support the show. If you want to rock the Burgundy Zone logo or you want to see Reed's face on your shirt, we got it. We're starting with t-shirts, hoodies, and zip-up. So if you're a fan of the show, make sure you snag one before they are gone. Check out the link in our bio on Instagram, or you can find the link in the description of the video. Thanks again for all your support. Until next time.